going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at a couple of one-team versus alls for the new 10-star KIZUNA Clutch against Jumanji. Sanji and Judge are getting their 6+, and this is a regular KIZUNA, which means that the final boss is actually Judge and Sanji. Now, with the release of the new legend Reiju, she is the highest point boosted character. In today's video, we are not focusing on using Reiju or the Germa kids, but you do want to try and bring a friend captain Reiju to gain as many drops as possible. So these particular teams will be centric around utilizing a Reiju friend captain. Now, I will put out some other teams that don't use Reiju as a friend captain, but these teams that you do see in today's video, these one team versus alls, will actually use Reiju, so that way you can gain as many ticket gains as possible. Now, like I said, this is a regular KIZUNA. You want to use the suicide strat, so dive in with a Reiju friend captain and then just leave. But if you guys are doing assists and you can find Reijus, these teams will hopefully help you out. And if they do, but like button, subscribe button, do all that good stuff. As you guys can see on screen, we have the infographic. Basically, this infographic can be found over on the Twitter of OPTC, so huge shout out to them. I'm not going to break down each individual stage. I'll do that in the second video, and I'll hopefully put a card for you guys on the top and put it as the end screen, so make sure to get to the end of the video, because if you enjoy the video, make sure to watch the whole thing, right? But that's the information. Let's take a look at the first team. The first team is led by Queen. Yes, Legend Queen, getting some love. You love to see it. It is a powerhouse-centric team, and utilizes Reiju as a friend captain. Queen as your captain can give you a chain boundary. You can also, like, proc his special frequently, but you need an orb booster on the team to do that. So it's a little bit more challenging for Queen than something like King, because Sober Mask can be so good for that. But Queen gives a attack boost, and then if you hit 3 perfects, you get a chain boundary. So the idea is to utilize Queen's special on stage 2, and then that way you can actually get the chain boundary on the final stage. We have Donjin Jiao on this team. Donjin Jiao, the free-to-play character, you can pick him up in the PKA shop, I believe. He was a point farming unit. He is so perfect for stage 2 because he removes paralysis, he gives you a chain buff, and he gives you the clock buff, so you get a chain boost on the next stage, which I do believe triggers before the intimidation. I'm not 100% sure if it does or if it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that it does. That way you can actually get a chain boost as well. Plus it helps you get over the chain boundary of 3.0 on stage 2 as well, giving that chain boost for that particular stage. We're going to use Sober Mask on stage 2 as well. We have the Nami support, so that way we can get around the defensive effects. Donjin Jiao also removes special one, which is awesome. But Nami on Sober Mask will actually set defense to 0. So for the variation that has the defense up on stage 2, you can easily get around that. And then Sober Mask is going to get his special back by the final stage, and then be your attack booster again. I have the Mr. 3 support on this particular team, so that way you get a damage reduction effect, and you can use Sasaki. Sasaki will be your orb booster for this team, but he also has the ulti support to get around some Despair, as well as removing Despair himself, because on 2 of the variations, you will actually get Despaired. Finally, we have Zoro on this team. Zoro is going to be our cooldown reducer, as there is some special reverse. Plus, he can also have the ability to increase orb boost, but he can also boost orb, so if you don't have Mr. 3, don't stress, you will be fine. As for supports, I have Vivi on Zoro and Lin on Donjin Jiao. Now, these characters are kind of important because there is a variation where you take 15,000 death damage and a 90% HP cut leading up to that particular point. Now, Reiju has the ability to heal 3 times her recovery at the end of the turn, and then you have stuff like pinch healing, but with Vivi, she heals 2,000, Lim heals 3% of your HP. So this should get you into a threshold where that 15k won't kill you. I do believe it's a fixed 15k, so damage reduction effects won't work and won't protect you from this. But it is quite nice to see that we do have some supports that can do that. If you don't have Vivi, you can use Hiyori, that's a 2,000 heal, and then you can use the other Vivi on Queen if you want, something like that, just for some more healing. But this team should work. Again, these teams are subject to change, like I said in my other videos, as, look, I can be a bit of a spoon, I can miss out on things, and, like, these teams don't always work, but I will test them for you guys when we dive into some runs, and hopefully we can actually get the chocolates with this particular team. The next team is a more pay-to-win team, and it does use BlackBeard as the captain. Now, again, it's powerhouse-centric. We still have the usual culprits of Sober Mask and Donjin Jiao on this team. Again, they're just so good at taking care of stage 2. The 2 of them are just, like, you're just set. And with this team, you can actually use BlackBeard on on that particular stage as well. There is a captain swap as well that you will need to be mindful of. So ideally, putting a very good unit in the middle right-hand column is going to help you guys out. So that way, if they do become your captain, you will be in a really good position. And that's why I put Sobermask there. You can actually close the app and reload it if you need to. And that way, you just have, like, whatever characters in your middle right become your captain. We have Queen again on this team. Queen again, Queen's a chain boundary unit, which is awesome, but he's also an attack booster, which is very, very good for this. But for this team, he's actually our cooldown reducer as well. He also has that ability to actually give cooldowns. He can be a cooldown reducer on the previous team you saw too with the Mr. 3 support, but that's only if you have the Mr. 3 support, and then you can just sort of replace Zoro with, like, anyone else, really. Zoro has, like, type advantage, so that was a big reason why he was there as well. But for this particular team, like I said, Donjin Jiao and Sobermask take care of stage 2. We have BlackBeard, who just completely removes the Despair, and then we have a chain boundary unit with Smoothie. Smoothie can actually give you 3 turns of chain boost as long as your chain boundary, as long as your captain is Powerhouse. I think it's just Powerhouse, so that should work nicely. We have some healing with Vivi, Big Mom, and Lim once again. That's always going to be very, very nice, so that way we can just sort of build up that 15k. BlackBeard also has a final tap too, which is very, very nice. Reiju is our friend captain, as I mentioned. She's going to be our color affinity booster. She's going to be our conditional booster, as well as removing some paralysis and stuff like that. But as for everything else, like, this team should work absolutely fine. And hopefully, once again, I really hope he does get the chocolates. And the final variation actually uses Gear 5. Now, Gear 5 is a boosted unit for this particular KIZUNA. So, you actually just start with his cooldowns, which is very, very nice. And because he's a fighter, he's actually boosted under Reiju as well. Unfortunately, though, his orb boost won't actually boost Reiju, which kind of sucks. But nevertheless, like, it should be fine with this particular team if you guys are looking for more of a Gear 5 free spirit route. But we are using Gear 5 as our captain. He has a revive mechanic, obviously, which does help out quite drastically for the int variation, which is he's kind of built for, I guess. We're going to use the waifus to actually just heal us back up. And then because we heal, the enemy has that interrupt where you take 200,000 death damage. We actually die, and then that way we can actually just revive that way. We just revive naturally without using the EX special. On the stage 2, Sanji basically is covered and covers you for the special bind, and then Frankie covers you for everything else. You could use the Nami support on Sanji if you wanted to, and then, like, swap out the waifus with another healer. That could definitely work. But look, Sanji's he's really, really good here for being the super, what is it, super type? Yeah, Reiju super type. Super type, condition for Reiju, as well as helping with the EX special. Everyone on this team, though, triggers the EX special, so that works quite nicely for every variation that doesn't involve you dying. And then with the block orb variation on stage 2, you can just use the super swap of Yamato and Ace to give yourself a big chain boundary and a matching orb on them. Unfortunately, they will lose the guaranteed, like, conditional on the final stage, and your chain boundary will be a bit lower just for that one particular variation. But look, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're going to be absolutely fine regardless, and you should have a lot of damage with stuff like the Rush special of Luffy. Reiju still hitting fairly hard, even without that orb boost, and all these other units doing a lot of extra damage. So, for the one that has the block orbs, it's the int variation itself. So you're hitting so hard with Luffy regardless that, like, it really shouldn't matter all that much. Well, I don't really see it mattering all that much. As for getting around the Despair, how am I getting around the Despair on this particular team? I think that might be a bit of an issue. Oh no, I've got supports, that's right. I've got supports for the Despair. We've got the Whitebeard, the Rayleigh, and the Morley. That's 6 turns all up right there. Works out quite nicely. You have chain boosting with Frankie because he has 3 turns of it. We have chain boundary with Yamato and Ace, an orb boost, and a color affinity with Reiju and Luffy, and then you have attack boosting with Yamato and Ace as well, excuse me. As for the captain swap shenanigans, if Yamato Ace get swapped into your captain, you're absolutely fine. You want to start as Yamato because she's a free spirit and a striker, so it works quite nicely. But with them on that variation, you'll use the super swap, so you'll burn and poison. So when they come back with 25% HP, you're just going to do so much damage on that revive anyway, thanks to those end of turn effects, that you should be able to kill no matter who swaps into your captain, even if it is one of your, like, rare recruits of Sanji and Frankie. So I don't believe they do any damage there, so it should be fine. You'll also have that crazy ability that Luffy provides with the what's it called? The 3 times Psy Orbs. So you should be pretty hunky-dory there. But that's going to wrap up the video, any homies. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down that bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's